Hey everybody, it's Pajama Life, and today we're going to review the edgy fairy tale Damsel, the sleek, the gentleman, and the bad batch. Let's go! Hey everybody, it's your girl Pajama with Pajama Life, and today we have some fun movies to review. The Damsel, an edgy fairy tale, the gentleman, the sophisticated drug story, and the Bad Batch is back. We're going to take a look at that, and I couldn't do it without my Wonder Twin. David, say hey to the people.
Hey, everybody. Great to be with you on what has been a chilly early spring in our nation's capital. But we've got some fun things to talk about tonight. Or do we have some fun things to talk about tonight? We'll see what we think on this.
All right. First up, let's take a look at Damsel on Netflix.
We need this. Your people need you.
I need you to listen to me now. I don't trust them. They may be royalty, but that doesn't make them good people.
Your hand, child.
Oh, wow. David, what did you think of Damsel?
Well, I have so enjoyed Millie Bobby Brown in Stranger Things. We've seen her in the Sherlock Holmes, Enola Holmes character, and she continues to knock it out of the park. I enjoyed the story. I love her acting. I think she's just a wonderful performer, and I think Netflix really found a hidden jewel in her as a young actress. My fingers are crossed that things continue to go well for her. Sometimes it can be tough being a young coming of age person in Hollywood, but she's a great actress. It's a fun story. It kind of turns the old fairy tales on its head a bit. She kind of Rambo'd out, and that was a lot of fun to see.
Not Rambo.
Rambette,
Oh, Lord.
Rambolina.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. But I think this is a really interesting and good take on the fairy tale. And it's also a novel. And I'm going to do a book to movie review of this story because I think it's something interesting that we should all take a look at. And I kind of am liking this kind of turning the old fairy tale narratives on its head and having some of the motivations as to why things in the old fairy tales may have happened. Because a lot of those fairy tales, David, I don't know if you remember, but they were pretty dark. Evil queens. And speaking of evil queens, did you notice who was the queen in this?
I know Princess Buttercup, one of the characters with her own action figure. So there were two action figures that by my count in the story, which that was kind of fun. But yeah, grim fairy tales truly were grim fairy tales.
Grim.
A lot of scary, sad stuff in those things.
It's amazing what we used to have to read as bedtime stories. This stuff was just violent, and kids were routinely murdered in them and whatnot. But I think that this is kind of the natural conclusion of what could happen to Princess Buttercup when she becomes a queen. But I think that the Millie Bobby Brown really is a strong action actress as well as a really great kind of feminist kind of maybe even it's too early yet to use icon, but she certainly is taking on a lot of these feminist roles, and it's really good to see her in these characters and to modernize the classic fairy tale. So I definitely think this is something the family could watch. There is some violence, but it's on the, it's more of the fantasy kind of violence. So little kids might be scared, but I think your preteen girls and boys and on up would enjoy Damsel. And watch out for our book to movie review coming up shortly. All right. I think it's a plus review from both of us. The Wonder Twins say yes. And up next is the sophisticated story of the continuation of the movie The Gentleman. It's now a TV series from Guy Ritchie. Let's take a look.
Allow me to introduce myself. I used to be in business with your father. I have certain interests that I need to discuss with you.
Now, what happens down there?
You will receive a significant amount of money. In return, for letting us carry out our activities.
You's like a duke, innit? What the?
People either survive in the jungle or exist in the zoo.
I didn't create this problem. I'm trying to help you deal with it.
No one walks away, and it's down to you to keep him under manners.
So in order to stop ourselves being associated with criminals, we are going to become criminals.
We're not criminals, Freddie.
Oh, what'd you think, David?
I loved this. I have not been historically a Guy Ritchie fan. I think I've fallen asleep in some of his stuff over the years. I've not been a big fan. This was captivating. Great performances, great cast, great story, goofy people out there. Moth Gus, I tell you, he's another great actor that has been under contract with Netflix quite a bit. Had that unique show about the con. Here he was.
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, Kaleidoscope. I loved every bit of this. I watched the whole thing today, and man, it was just fantastic. Just great TV.
It really was. I am a Guy Ritchie fan. I've seen almost everything he's done since the beginning.
Yep.
And I really like his take because his movies also have to do with class and the British system, but just class in general. And that's the kind of the undercurrent going on in this story as well.
Yep.
And great act, Theo James. Tasty biscuit instead of a cookie. A tall drink of tea, as it were. And I think the only problem I had with the story is Jimmy. I think that's the character of the little weed sommelier.
Yes.
It was just, his character kept being unbelievable. And I was like, huh? What? He did what? And he's still doing what? And nothing's happening to him? I'm like, come on, dude. I'd have killed him after like...
He is Mr. Green Jeans. I mean, he is kind of the weed connoisseur.
Yeah.
You kind of need him. So they're putting up with his... I don't know what was his deal, whether it was he was just an extra from Cheech and Chong that got his own.
That's what's up with him.
I think it is, definitely.
Innocent goof.
But it was so much fun. I can't wait for season 2. I I thought it was great. The chemistry between the actors.
Yeah.
Oh man, I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved
Well, and I also think that it's an interesting story when they brought in Giancarlo Esposito, um, because then you have a kind of American versus the Empire, the British Empire,
it. Right.
and the everything that goes on with that, and about, you kind of never really got the sense of him being violent, but he's so good. It was always kind of simmering under the surface.
Yeah.
That at any moment, he would just kill everybody over a good glass of whiskey, a single malt, and move on with his day like nothing's nothing. And I think the actress who played Susie, she did a great job
Didn't
of
she?
that coldness, but that but you could tell the love for her family, but very, very cold and calculating, but just trying to get business done. So I really enjoyed that. And Ray Winstone as the father, I was like, oh my God, that's Ray Winstone.
Yep. Who was also in the other movie we saw.
Yeah, and in the classic Sexy Beast, which is also now a series. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they're going with these kind of classic movies. But I'm hoping this comes back, but it's a great arch of Theo James's character throughout, and Freddie's character. I think the chicken scene was just the most it was funny, and then it was horrible, and then it was pitiful, and then it was sad, and then it was tragic. And to have that kind of range is really pretty awesome of that actor to bring all of that in. So
it was actually, and I can't remember the name of the movie, and I should have brought it to the show tonight. There was a scene eerily reminiscent of it in a 1960s German film about a professor, a mild-mannered professor who had fallen in love with a showgirl and ruined his life. Sergeant Schultz from Hogan's Heroes was in it, but it was a very similar scene and a very, again, shot differently, but it really echoed that same sense of despair. That was some great acting, and I was not expecting what happened there.
Yeah. Well, I kind of was, because I was like, you can only push somebody so far until something happens. And it was, I just was like, it just got to the point of you were cringing in it. And so it was like, wow, this is really, really cool what they did here.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a plus. Oh, however, please, kids probably should not watch this. It's very, very classic Guy Ritchie, terrible amount of violence and gore.
A lot of violence.
Oh my goodness. It's for adults, so definitely adults will enjoy The Gentleman, but not so gentlemanly behavior. All right. Next up, David's favorite show, The Bad Batch. Let's take a peek.
I thought that the end of the war would mean an end to losing more of our brothers. But I was wrong. We can't just walk away. Not with the Empire imprisoning the kid. Secure her in a cell. Omega's been waiting for us a long time. Our mission is not over yet. They are coming. For all of you. Give us a real challenge. Everyone! Stand down! We're not big on following orders.
All right. David, you're our Star Wars guru. What say you on the Bad Batch?
Well, it's been, I think, some of the best stories that this show has had thus far in this season, in the third, fourth season. It's the final season. I think it's been some really smart writing, neat character development with Omega, and you've got the sniper that's back.
Crosshair.
Crosshair is back. So to me, I think there's some good things. What's interesting too is you saw this probably in Ahsoka or on The Mandalorian, as well as here, the clone facility, this super secret lab that Mount Tannis, and I think you're referring to it as Tannis, the planet. It was actually a planet called Wayland. All of that comes from the kind of the reboot of Star Wars in the Timothy Zahn novels, which also gave us Grand Admiral Thrawn, who had a cloning plan to help overthrow the New Republic in those. So Disney said they weren't going to do anything with the old stories, but when push came to shove, they took absolutely the best expanded universe villain and a lot of the situations and brought it into their canon. So it's fun. Definitely want to watch it. Have not seen Rhea Perlman just yet. Again, I don't know if we will. I hope we get a conclusion to her in this. And not to have too many spoilers, but it's been out for a little while. A little bit of midichlorian action, maybe this M count thing that they're looking for. So, they're trying to connect the prequels with the sequels to everything in this, whether you want to, whether you like it or not.
And I think that, gosh, I hope they don't talk about midichlorians. That was just, to me, the downfall of the prequel stuff. I was like, come on, man, not the midichlorians. But
M count, it has to be.
I know, but I just keep an M count and don't talk about any of that mess underneath it. But I love the alien scientist. What's her name? Who's protecting?
I know who you're talking. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Kaminoan. I love the Kaminoans. I just want an episode of just the Kaminoans because they are just so cool. And you had a surprise this week of a character from three series popped
That's
in.
right. Fennec Shan is back. She was in an early episode in season 1, and they brought her back still wearing the same costume.
Yeah.
Or she's like me, she has 10 copies of the same shirt.
Well, she don't have time to be worrying about what to wear.
No.
And she was also in the live action series.
Right. So the book
and
of Boba
she
Fett.
was in
Mando.
The Obi-Wan, I believe. Wasn't she in Obi-Wan?
No, I don't think she was in Obi-Wan.
But she was in another she was in the Clone Wars, right?
She's been in Clone. Well, no,
yeah,
she was
so
in
that's
Bad
like
Batch.
They're carrying her character through multiple series.
Right.
So that is pretty cool. And especially for well, I guess she's not young anymore, but I always remember her young. Ming Na Wen, she's just a great actress. And so it's good to see her all throughout Star Wars lore, both cartoon and live action. They could do a whole series around like the bounty hunters. That would be cool, and have different episodes where you focus on different bounty hunters. See, come on, Disney. You should bring me out there to pitch some ideas. But I am enjoying this so far. I think the action is fantastic. I think the deeper storylines that they're going into around the clones and what's going to happen. My only it's not really an issue, but I'm just kind of wary of getting too attached to anybody, because this seems like it's going to cover these, and the subsequent shows will cover a pretty dark part of the stories, the rise of the empire. And that's, you're just going to see a lot of death and destruction and chaos. And
well, and here's the thing. You've gone, you've in the future, the original stories in 77. Here we are in the 21st century. We're going back to before A New Hope. And you kind of scratch your heads. Well, if they're around after Jedi and they were still alive after the rise of the Empire, where were these people? Well, we know where they were. They didn't exist yet. But in story, it hurts your head because you're trying to figure out where they were and what's going on. And that's a criticism I have for what they've been doing, which I don't think will be an issue with Star Wars' new show, The Acolyte, which we will be seeing soon and talking about in future episodes.
Yes, we're definitely going to do a trailer review of The Acolyte. So definitely take a because Carrie Ann Moss, I hear, is in it. From the Matrix, Trinity from the Matrix. So I'm see her kicking butt, and Amanda Steinberg, I think that's her name. She's in it. I'm kind of excited, and I can't wait to do the trailer review. But I think that's just my thing, is that these next movies and TV shows will cover kind of a dark period when the Shroud of the Empire starts to cover everything. So I want them to have some positive kind of I just want to see the good guys win. But in terms of the story, they can't win,
right,
in order for the Empire to rise. So
it's how you define winning. Surviving sometimes in life is just winning. That bad work week, it's a bad work week when you're fighting the Empire right now. You can't win. You just got to survive.
I know survival is okay because it survives to give birth to what's going to happen. But I mean, I want them to thrive. I want to see the big victories. I want to see what happens after they totally defeat Palpatine, and like what happens to the universe after that. I want to see some of that too, some positive stuff. So that's just me, but I thoroughly have enjoyed this series. We'll be reviewing weekly the stories from now on until the end. And so that we can cover this, because it's one of our favorites. So we're going to do a weekly drop of it. So stay tuned to future episodes of the show. Next week, we will review. Oh, it's here. It's finally on streaming. Wonka! We're going to take a look at Timothy Chalamet, who's in every movie, I guess, so far. 2024. And we're also going to review the guys. Absolutely, we're like, we gotta watch it. Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series on Netflix. So that is next week, as well as next week's episode of The Bad Batch. David, we're here. Say goodnight to the people.
Everybody, hope you've had a good time with us tonight. It certainly was a lot of fun watching these programs to share with you. So come back next week, and we can serve up a little bit more of some Pajama Life humor. So long, everybody.
And I know all you out there, your brackets are busted like mine. Like mine is. But you know what? That's March Madness. So definitely come back to March Sanity on Pajama Life. We'll see you next time. If you can and you're in the DC area, go check out the cherry blossoms. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.